Good morning. I decided to bite the bullet and purchase some of those high-priced Purple Hull peas. Thankfully they were a tad bit cheaper, not too much. I bought 5 pounds worth. Got 1 pound in here. I'm going to rinse these off real good. And we're going to do a hot pack on these today. I just prefer a hot pack over raw pack because I don't care for the little floaties. And Purple Hulls seem to, once you put them in water and they start the processing, and after they've set for a while, they have a little bit of a thicker liquid, I guess, from what comes out of the beans. So sometimes when you open the jars, it may not look a little appetizing on top because that liquid has settled down and thickened on top. But they're still good. In the past, I had put some little bits of ham in there, but I'm not going to do that this time because I found that the ones that end up on top, that kind of exposed to the air at the top of the jar, tend to look unappetizing. They're kind of black. I mean, they're fine to eat, but I always pick them out because I just didn't care for them, and I didn't think my family would care for them either. So because they just don't look very good. Dogs have enjoyed them. So anyway, going to get these washed up. We're going to be using the Ball Blue Book version of canning these for the hot pack. I'm going to get all these washed up. I'm going to put them in a pot, and I'm going to take them out to my camp stove, and I'm going to bring them up to a boil and boil them for 3 minutes. And then we're going to put them in hot jars and load them up into the canner. I'm going to do pints. I always do pints because it's just my husband and I, usually, unless we have other family over. Pints processed for 40 minutes. So we'll be back when we have these hot boiling out there on the camp stove. All right, we're back on my deck. Got my camp stove out. Got the beans on there. I'm sorry this is going to be a little bit shaky, but I'm trying to hold this and move around. Beautiful fall day here today. I covered these beans with water. This is not just simply a blanching technique. It specifically said cover with water and put on and then boil for 3 minutes. So once this comes up to a rolling boil, I'll start my timer and let them finish and then pull them off. I've also got me a kettle of water over here because we'll need some water to fill in the jars. And it's just easier for me out here to get it to a boil. Since I had the camp stove out, I wanted to make use of it anyway. I absolutely love this camp stove. This has been one of the best purchases I've ever done. And especially on a day like today, let me raise you up. You can see my backyard a little bit. You see how heavily wooded I am. Just gorgeous, gorgeous day. Sun's out, and let's see, it's about 60 degrees so far. I've got the doors and windows open. Could not have asked for a prettier day, especially to be running a camp stove out on your back deck. So we'll be back when these are done and we're ready to start canning them up. Alright, we're ready to start canning. The jars are done cleaning. I'm going to pull the first one out of the dishwasher. Make sure y'all can see that. While the beans were on the camp stove, I set everything else up. Got my rings and lids washed and cleaned. Got them in some vinegar water over here. It's just warm water. Got my canning salt. For those of you who are new to canning, let me say please use canning salt. Let me show you the difference here. This is Morton's All Natural Canning and Pickling Salt. There is not they don't put an anti-caking agent in like they do in your regular Morton table salt. That anti-caking agent that they put in here will cause clouding in your jars, so your food won't look as attractive, and you'll be wondering, why is it cloudy? Is it safe? It's still safe, it just doesn't look pretty. So, alright. I do need to get, excuse me for reaching across the camera here, I forgot to get me paper towel. So I like to, let's see, we're going to have to, salt optional. We're going to leave an inch of headspace. I'm doing pints, so I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of salt in each jar. I like to try to put that in before I start ladling beans in. So let's put this over here and got me a slotted spoon. Y'all can still see that. Let me see. Yeah, kind of see. Oops, dropped one. You'll notice I always put towels down because I tend to be messy with this. Alright. So, you don't want to sit here and tap your jars. It doesn't recommend you do that, but I mean, it's not going to hurt you to shake them to kind of even things out. And I went and boiled a kettle of water outside. I'm going to take the lid off this sucker so it doesn't fall off. We're going to fill that up with water. So we're aiming to go just, let's see, what did I say? Inch of head space. So that should be right about there. Right where that first line is. Okay? So now we're going to debubble. A little closer. Always debubble. Oops, I'm losing peas again. Jumping out of there. And that jar is hot. Try to get down those sides real good. I probably do a little bit of an overkill on the debubbling, but I'm rather safe than sorry. And these, I can see these settling. I don't know how well the camera is catching that, but they are settling pretty good. So get down there in the middle. Alright. Wipe our lid. Dip it. I've got vinegar and some warm water in there, mostly vinegar. And you supposedly don't have to heat the lids anymore. Yeah, I tend to kind of still do in some warm water. Not boiling water, just warm water. So finger tight on the lid. Okay. Pick that up. And in the canner she goes. I keep an extra pan of water boiling in case I run out. And I probably should have a plate under here, but I wouldn't be moving the camera around and shaking too much. So I'm going to get the rest of these jarred up. We'll see how many pints I come up with, and once I have them in the canner, we'll be back. I wanted to show y'all, especially those who are new to canning. Sorry about the camera. I've still got it on the tripod. I didn't want to take it off. I don't know if you can see that steam coming out. You should be able to in the light, but that's how you know that your canner is venting properly. You want to let it vent like that once it gets to pushing steam out of the top, exhausting like that, for a good 10 minutes at least before you put the weight on. So I've got this venting. Thought my battery had given out on me. It turns out my memory card was full. It seems I did not delete out a lot of the old videos I had taken from other stuff I thought I had, so I may have cut myself off on the last one. Also, wanted to show you real quick when I was talking about the water. I'm not sure if I'll use that video or not because it did cut off. This was the water that the peas boiled in, and you see how dirty, mucky it looks. And I mean, it's not that it's dirty, it's just the coloring that came off the Purple Hull peas. I chose to use fresh boiling water in my jars instead of using the water that they cooked in. I mean, it's like I said, it's probably fine. It just doesn't look attractive. So I'd rather have clear, clean looking water so that it looks nicer in the jars. So just wanted to add that little point right quick, and we'll be back after the canner is finished. We're going to have to process these for a good 40 minutes since they are pints. Got my canner open. I've already taken the top layer off. I wanted to get that safely out of the way, but I was going to show y'all a jar right quick before I take it to set it down. Let's see if y'all can see that. There you go. Don't those look great? Nice, clear. You can see those Purple Hull peas in there. I can't wait to eat them. They smell so good. And it looks like I got a total of, let's see. I got 10 jars. The 10th jar wasn't completely full. It was too much for a half pint. So I went ahead and put it in a pint jar. I knew we wouldn't be around to eat them this evening or the next evening, so I just went ahead and canned them even though it wasn't a full jar. Just filled it up with water and it'll be fine. Anyway, thank you, and you hear that ping? They're already sealing. Thank you for coming along on this venture with me, and that one just sealed too. So let me go put these away so they can cool down. Thanks for watching. Happy canning. Here we are with a finished product. 10 jars of Purple Hull peas. This one here on the end has a little more liquid in the top. That was the one that the last jar, and I didn't have quite enough peas to fill it up to right there. But actually, I think in the future, as you can see, these swell up so much in the processing. I mean, you still got you got some room in there, but I may go a little lower with the peas in the future and put a little more liquid in there. That way I know I always have liquid on top, and when you open them up, they won't be dry. But anyway, just wanted to show you those right quick and how nice they turned out. I've got my jars cleaned up, and I'm going to write the date on them, what they are, and get them put up in my pantry. Thank you for watching. Happy canning, and God bless.